used to work at this water department, and I had the back office all to myself all the time. I was back there all the time. I worked there for 2 years. One day I started to hear footsteps, and I assumed that the guys were behind me cleaning their trucks because that was something that they normally did. I asked one of the older ladies that had been working there for many years if the guys were back there cleaning their trucks, because I kept hearing footsteps for 15 minutes and it was starting to get annoying. She told me that they were all in a different town working on a leak and that nobody had been back there all day. So I was like, that's weird because I keep hearing footsteps. And she told me that that was Rubiel. And I said, who's Rubiel? She said that Rubiel used to be a general manager there for 15 years. And he died about 30 years ago. And I said, okay. And she went back there to a picture of him and pointed at him and demanded that he leave me alone. And ever since then, I never heard footsteps again.
From 2018, when I graduated high school, to early 2020, I went to University of North Texas in Denton. And my roommate and I lived in some off-campus apartments that were like student apartments, but we lived directly across the street from a cemetery that is the oldest cemetery in Denton. And it's called the International Order of Odd Fellows Cemetery, but we called it Ayuf, because that's what the sign says. And we had kind of, like, we were amateur ghost hunters. Like, we had bought some equipment. We had, like, a spirit box. We had some EMF readers. But it was really just, like, a way to pass the time. And we had gone to a ghost town east of Denton. We had gone to Mineral Wells, to an abandoned hospital, to the mansion north of Denton. But we loved cemeteries, right? And this one was interesting and weird and different because instead of being ordered by like family or, you know, alphabetically by last name, these people were ordered by age. So like, for example, the babies and the toddlers were at the very, very front of the cemetery by the guard shack. And this cemetery was all in-ground graves except for one, and it was the one above-ground tomb, and that tomb was unmarked. So obviously we needed to know more, and we had decided, all right, we're going to go at night, we're going to figure this out, we're going to take all of our equipment, it'll be great. The night before we went, I was coming home from work, and I drove by it every day to and from work, but I was coming home, and there was this big tree, sort of like in the front across from the baby graves. And I swore to God that I had seen somebody hanging from that tree. So I pull over, jump the fence, ready to call 911, figure out what's going on. I get up to the tree, there's nobody there. I'm thoroughly freaked out. I go home, tell my roommate about it. She's like, that's fucking awesome. We should go. Great. So we pack up all of our equipment, we go pick up our other friend, and we go to the cemetery, and it's like 10 o'clock, 10:30, and we parked in the middle because we, of course, wanted to know more about the unmarked tomb. So we parked right by it, and we got all of our equipment out, and we got out, and we turned everything on, and we walked up to the tomb, and it wasn't coming through, like there was nothing coming through on the spirit box, but the EMF reader was going insane. So we knew something was there, but it just wasn't talking to us. So we started asking questions. Whose tomb is this? When did it happen? How long have you been here? All that kind of stuff. And it came through, and they said, walk. And we were like, okay, weird. And we asked again, whose tomb is this? You know, when did you die or whatever? And it just kept saying, walk, walk, walk. So we were like, all right, which way? And it said back. So we turned around and we started walking away from the tomb. And I don't think you should probably ever take directions from a ghost, but we did. Um, so we started walking away from the tomb. So like if the tomb's here, we're walking away, and we came to an intersection in the walkways. So we asked right or left, and the spirit box said right. So we turned right, and I noticed that we were literally walking straight towards the tree. And it's so hard to explain, but if you've ever been in a situation where you don't know what's going on, but you know it's bad, it's that sinking feeling in your stomach. It's that I need to get out of here right now type of feeling. And the closer we got to the tree, the more I felt like that. And it was like debilitating. But my roommate kept walking. So I was walking with her, and we got maybe 6-7 feet from the tree, and the spirit box said tree. And we weren't sure what that meant. Obviously, it wanted us to go to the tree, but we weren't sure of the context of the tree. And we stopped a couple feet from it because I wasn't trying to get super close to it. And the spirit box went insane, and it just kept tree, 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 tree. And it's that I got that paralyzing type of fear. Something was wrong, something was not right, and we had to get out of there basically immediately because the energy just got really wrong really fast. And we don't know, like we never figured out who that tomb belonged to. We never figured out what the story with the tree was because we got so freaked out that we ran off. And we got back in the car, and we never went back to the cemetery at night or with our equipment again.
So I lived in a small town in Mineral Wells, Texas. I lived there for about 12 years, so most of the stories are all my mom's and some like other family members that occasionally lived with us every now and then. But I think the most interesting one, the funniest one to me, is so they didn't like new people. They didn't like scary movies, horror films. And so my mom had these 2 friends come over and stay the night, and they brought the movie White Noise with them. Every time they put it in like the DVD player, the power on the TV would go out. And they tried and tried and tried and tried, never got to watch the movie. They ended up just going to sleep. They slept, so we had the downstairs, and it was like guest bedroom, a spare bedroom that my mom says was the most active, and then upstairs was kitchen, my room, her room. So she slept in her room, they slept in the guest bedroom, and in the morning time, Lacey was one of them. She asked my mom, like, did you touch my stuff? My mom was like, no, I didn't touch your stuff. And their stuff was packed up in their bags that they brought, sitting in the front door with the movie sitting right on top.